Good evening. I'm going to call the Fillmore Planning Commission meeting to order at this point. And we will go ahead and start off with let's do the Pledge of Allegiance first. Okay, please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. May I have a roll call, please?
Chair Carrie Brogy.
Here.
Vice Chair Jamie Labor. Commissioner Albert Mendez.
Here.
Commissioner Aaron Todd.
Here.
Commissioner Miguel Magallanes.
Here.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Labor does have an excused absence this evening, and so we will now move on to oral communications. Do we have any members from the public lined up to make comments on anything not on the agenda this evening? Okay, apparently not. Let's go to the consent calendar, and the only item on the consent calendar are the minutes from our meeting of May 19th. Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, consent calendar is approved. Okay, it takes us down to public hearings. Item 6A, this is continued from May 19th, public hearing with regard to this agenda item. We'll go ahead and turn it over to our staff and let you go with it. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair and fellow commissioners. I'm Brian McCarthy. This item is the Fillmore Terrace project. It is continuance from May 19th hearing. At the May 19th hearing, you'll recall that Commission had significant comments related to the architectural design of the project, and the applicant went back to the drawing board to come up with some new design sketches. At the time the staff report was prepared for your Commission, some partial submittal came in, a few sheets of a site plan or a couple floor plans came in. So staff hasn't conducted a review of this analysis. None of the city staff has really seen this new redesign yet. In order for the project to proceed, staff will have to get a full set of plans, fully designed, and then the remainder of city staff can review it, and we can process all of the technical documents and present the project to you at a whole and make an actual staff recommendation. So tonight's recommendation, based on that time frame, is that we open the public hearing, receive any public comments. This is for the initial study, mitigated negative declaration, for the general plan amendment number 1901, specific plan amendment number 1901, zone change number 1901, lot merger number 1901, density bonus number 1901, and development permit number DP 1902. And second recommendation is to direct staff to provide public notice of a new planning commission hearing date for the project after completing a comprehensive review of any applicant submitted revised project plans, project description, and technical documents addressing all of the changes from the commission and from staff.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
So we will hear from the applicant now.
Yes, I believe the applicant is on Zoom, and they have a presentation of some of the sketches they've been working on.
Great,
Yeah.
okay.
One moment, I'm admitting.
There we go. Good evening.
Hello, can you hear us all right?
We do.
Excellent, thank you. There should be Veronica will be joining from People's Self-Help as well. She may be in the lobby for Zoom as well. If we could admit her, that would be excellent. There she is.
Are there any other representatives?
No, that is everyone from our team this evening, and we have a very brief presentation, just kind of going over the conceptual sketches that Brian and staff mentioned, and we are ready to proceed with those whenever you're ready.
Okay, I believe we're ready.
All right, great. Let me get the slideshow up here and I'll share my screen. All right, can everyone see that all right?
Yes.
Excellent, thank you. Well, thank you all for your time. We're happy to be back here again with you all. My name is Tanner Shelton. I'm a land use consultant working for People's Self-Help on the Fillmore Terrace project. We have Veronica Garcia and Mark Pettit here tonight as well from our project team. This is the journey we've been on so far. This is our 5th time in front of you this evening. We were last in front of you on May the 19th. And at that meeting, People's Self-Help Housing presented our latest iteration of the site design, followed by an analysis regarding our consistency with adopted plans and ordinances. Planning Commission provided some really helpful feedback and assessment on the revised plans and projects that were before you on May the 19th. The general consensus of the Planning Commission, as we heard it, was to further reduce the bulk, scale, and mass of the project to better fit in with the surrounding community. Our team is really happy to be in front of you tonight with this draft conceptual redesign that is very much in the working stages. We're working through these things, and we're really looking forward to hearing your feedback so that we can have a better put together submittal for you when we formally resubmit and come back before your commission at a later date. At this time, I'd like to turn it over to Mark Pettit, our architect, and he's going to walk you through the changes we've made. Mark?
Great. Thanks, Tanner. Good evening. My name is Mark Pettit. I'm with Lauterbach and Associates Architects. Happy to be here tonight. So what you see in front of you is our building that we had previously. The slide shows the footprint, which was allowed, which had no, it did not require setback on Palm Street. We did have setback on Palm and had virtually no setback on Santa Clara and no setback on the alley. Next slide. So this is a concept that we've got that shows setbacks off of the alley, as you had mentioned, to about 25 feet before we hit garages. Those would be parking spaces with landscape. We have 3 new building areas. They're in a U-shaped configuration, and they're set back from each other. That will allow for landscape between the buildings and landscape in the courtyard, which I'll go over a little bit later. The courtyard depths are about 60 feet deep, so it shows quite a bit of landscape and open area. And of course, those courtyards are all controlled by gates. The concept is to make this look like 5 to 6 separate buildings. And while we're providing 4 separate buildings, the concept was to have it so from the street, you would be able to see the fronts of the building with landscape between the buildings and landscape in the courtyards. The 4th building is up on the corner of Santa Clara and Palm, and we'll talk a little bit more in detail, but this is substantially the same building footprint for the community space with just 1 floor of residential above. So it's very, very similar, and there will be an entrance on Palm also. Next slide, please. This shows the context and the fabric that's similar to the neighborhoods around the property. You can see the pale green being the landscape areas and the colored areas being the units. The building up on Santa Clara is just shown dashed because it's above the elevation, since there is an 11-foot difference in elevation from Santa Clara to Highway 126. Next slide. So we heard you want lower height buildings than the code allows for, less massing, and more of a contextual fit. So what we've done on this top elevation is what we had previously. The bottom elevation takes the architectural concepts and elevational design and incorporates them into what you see in front of you, which are the fronts or the ends of the U's of the building. So it creates a series of terraced 1 and 2 story buildings going down Palm to 126. Again, with your direction, we have it so that we've got landscaping between the buildings and, of course, our significantly landscaped courtyard buildings. And this right here gives us the impressions of up to about 7 buildings that are separated by landscape. The blow up that you see right now has the same architectural detail and massing that we had in the previous buildings. So they could be Craftsman, shingle style, Victorian. Some will have dormer windows, dormer roof type windows. They would also have bay windows and pop out single story elements to bring in that texture and the character of what we have around the neighborhood. Next slide. This is the elevation reduced significantly of the community building. So we wanted to keep all of the great functions of the community building intact. So the ground floor is the community building with the entrance that you see in gray. And we just have 1 floor of apartments above. What we've done with this, as with at the corner of 126 and Palm, is we significantly modified the tower element so that it's completely de-emphasized, but still fits into the architectural character. We still have access, as I mentioned, on Palm to this building, and our parking is screened behind a landscape wall and trees. And actually, as you can see by the dashed line, we do have a sloped area and a partial podium. So our remaining parking is above and beyond the requirement, but it is also screened and out of view. Next slide, please. This gives you a little bit of an idea about what we're looking at, where the colors to your far left are the ground floor with the 1 and 2 bedrooms, stairs, and garage in the back. The middle, which is the second floor plan, shows the units, and the green massings, those are townhouse type units. So those have a 3rd floor, but they're kind of tucked in underneath the roof. They're center of the building, so it keeps the mass down. Next slide, please. Once again, the community space is substantially the same as we had previously. And we have an elevator from the parking below the community center space up to the 2nd floor apartments. And the apartments are all designed now and oriented to take advantage of all the views. Next slide, please. This is what you've seen before. This is our inspiration board, and we're planning on keeping and using the same architectural elements, the colors, the materials, as you complimented us previously. So we really took a lot of effort in taking a look at a lot of the buildings around Fillmore, and we think that we can incorporate and have a successful elevation that ties into the neighborhood. Next slide, please. This is representative of our parking. So the way that we set our site parking was we have approximately 60 spaces that are available. And we have 52 units approximately that we're proposing. But what we did is we went above and beyond that. And for our 2 and 3 bedroom units, we have 2 spaces. We have tandem parking spaces. So we provide significantly more parking than we had even at the last elevation or the last design that you've seen, even though we have quite a bit less units than what we had proposed before. Next slide, please. So once again, this is the overall that shows the parking off of the alley with all of our buildings set back, and for the 2 and 3 bedrooms, they would have 2 spaces. Our project keeps the same alignment for the entrance exit off of Palm that aligns with the future alley. Our parking is screened and secured. A portion of the parking is below grade, podium under the building, so you don't see it. But with this layout, we have significantly less grading, and the remainder of the buildings will terrace down from Santa Clara to 126. Each one will have their own pad, so we'll have about a 2 foot or so grade difference. And all the building all the units in the building will have access to 2 trash enclosures located at about third points along the alley, very similar to what we had before. And this design, as mentioned, has quite a bit of less units. We originally started this process with about 86 units, and we're down to about 52. Next slide. So we hope that that you feel that we've listened to your comments and your good input that we had the last meeting, and we hope this concept revision will help you to give us direction on how we move forward. So in summary, our goal is to retain the high quality open space and the outdoor amenities, increased vegetation and green space from viewing from Palm, Highway 26, even the alley, and soften the bulk scale and massing. Reduce unit count while still contributing to the RENA numbers. We want to make sure that our parking continues to be screened from all areas. And we really want to keep Santa Clara Street activated and be part of the downtown. So with that, I thank you. And Tanner, if you want to go on to the next.
Thank you, Mark, for that really helpful overview of the architectural design, the changes we're conceptually proposing at this time. We feel that these changes, based on the feedback we received from your commission in May, will really help increase the project compatibility with CBD transitional zone and general plan standards and guidelines. We feel the new project really accomplishes the goals listed out in these 2 documents. For example, with building mass and organization, we feel that this revised design, based on your very helpful input, is more compatible with the adjacent and the nearby neighborhoods. We feel that the new proposal in front of you will protect and enhance the small town character of the central business district, as Mark explained, with these townhouse style apartments that are broken up into 4 different buildings that will look like somewhere in between 5 to 7. It really reflects the character of the surrounding neighborhood and the traditional style and character of the city's architecture will be applied to this development, as it has throughout the process that has been well received so far. So we hope to continue that. To conclude, I'd like to introduce you to Veronica Garcia from People's Self-Help Housing. She is going to be discussing our envisioned next steps and introducing herself and making some remarks. So, Veronica?
Hi, good evening, planning commissioners and staff. Can you hear me okay? Great, thank you. My name is Veronica Garcia, Chief Real Estate Development Officer with People's Self-Help Housing. Ken Triguero, who you met at the hearing in May, had a conflict this evening, so I'm here representing the developer owner. As has already been stated this evening, we are grateful for your time, and we look forward to receiving your feedback to the conceptual redesign in order to be able to proceed with next steps and more fully develop project plans. We really hope that you can appreciate the changes made to bring the project more in line with the city's vision for this particular location. And we appreciate the comments shared thus far to improve the project. And we sincerely do think that we have a better project overall. If we agree that the conceptual design is now on track, we will move swiftly to produce a more complete package for staff's analysis, and we hope to revisit with the Planning Commission in September. I did want to share that the time elapsed so far did come at an expense to the financing previously committed. While the county continues to be supportive of expanding affordable housing opportunities, They did withdraw their No Place Like Home funding commitment, and the project missed a window of opportunity to apply for state funding for infill infrastructure grant funds. However, we are confident that if we can agree on this new conceptual design approach, we can position the project for competitive state affordable housing and infrastructure investments that will become available within the year. Thank you again, and we look forward to your comments.
Any other comments or presentation from the applicant? Oh, okay,
That
thank you.
concludes our presentation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. And again, thank you for being here yet another meeting. Before we move into any other questions or a decision on moving forward here, this is a public hearing. I'd like to open up. Do we have any public comments? Okay, then we'll go ahead and proceed with public comments. And are we doing that via,
Yes, let me.
was that via Zoom?
That is correct, yes.
Okay, great.
So, okay, so I have someone dialed in. Unfortunately, there's no name, but the phone number, the last four digits are 3559, and I'd like to ask if they are here for this item, 6A. 3559 via phone. Okay. Maybe if you can dial *6 on your phone, and then we can, that will unmute you. Going once. Okay, we're going to move to the next one. Okay, so the next person we have is A. Ventura. Let me admit them. So we have A. Ventura. If you could please state your full name for the commissioner. We have A. Ventura here. Oh. Can you hear us, Mr. Ventura?
Yeah, yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Did you call? I didn't hear you because I didn't. Did you call my name? I'm sorry.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Hello. Good evening, planning commissioners. My name is Anthony Ventura. I have lived in Fillmore for over 2 decades and raised my family. My kids played in AYSO. We have done community service like helping remodel the Boys and Girls Club. I'm a union carpenter, and I've been for over 30 years and have 2 sons. Both are graduates of Fillmore High School. But tonight I come to you as a concerned citizen. Fillmore has always been a close-knit community. It's a great place to raise a family, and is one of the last places in Ventura County that has some of the last affordable housing. But yet we don't have any good paying jobs here. With this development, we should address not only the traffic that this project will bring, but also the emissions with the out-of-town construction workers that they will bring. We can fix this by hiring local and skilled trained residents to live right here in our own community, that live and shop at the stores and restaurants where we put our hard-earned money right back into our town. Thank you.
Okay, if I can go ahead and call Alex Perez. Alex Perez.
Start video.
I think he's trying to join.
Are you muted?
Alex, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, please proceed.
Okay. Good evening, Planning Commission and fellow residents. My name is Alex Perez, and I'm a Ventura County lifelong resident, a member of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters, a representative of the 2,000 union carpenters in our area, a stepdad of two, and the first baby on the way, and also a labor compliance representative. I live, work, and recreate in the vicinity of the project. First off, the city should require a skilled and trained workforce, and second, require local hire. These both will reduce construction-related environmental impacts while benefiting the local economy. With skilled and trained workforce, the benefits of having a skilled and trained workforce are as follows. Skilled workers are an asset for any business as they play a large role in developing a business's reputation and ongoing success. If you're lucky enough to have a strong team who believe in your business and take pride in their work, it's worth doing everything you can to retain them so that your business will continue to thrive. A skilled worker is someone who holds the necessary qualifications to perform their role, and they consistently go above and beyond in the performance of their duties, from striving to provide an outstanding customer experience to ensuring that all work is carried out with care and attention to detail. Skilled and trained workers understand their role and are fully committed to your business. In the workforce of today, skilled and trained workers are a necessity. Put simply, any business which values productivity, efficiency, quality, workmanship, loyalty, and harmonious workplace should be investing in their employees by providing access to further training, education, new opportunities to expand their skill set and move up in the ranks. In doing so, you will be investing in the success of your business while enjoying a positive working relationship with your staff. Benefits of skilled and trained workforce. They maximize productivity. Skilled workers are experts at their job, and this means improved productivity for your business. Unskilled workers, on the other hand, would likely require additional training, taking up valuable time and resources. Another benefit is problem solving. Skilled workers have advanced theoretical and practical knowledge, making it easier for them to overcome issues and highlight inconsistencies within your business practices, and they have the confidence to do what is necessary and the ability to solve the problems as they arise instead will benefit your entire team. Also, another benefit is saving money. Whilst they may be paid more than unskilled workers, skilled and trained workers will save your business money in the long run. Unskilled workers are more likely to require additional training, make mistakes on the job, and potentially damage customer relations. Skilled and trained workers have the skills and expertise to deliver a job well done and keep your customers satisfied and save the city money. They improve profitability and have stronger growth, and also provide positive work relationships. With local hire, model programs profiled in East Palo Alto Ordinance, the Los Angeles Airport Modernization CPA, and the Project Labor Agreement for the Port of Oakland Modernization, amongst others, making development work provides evidence for what we all know, that local hire programs can provide substantial numbers of new job opportunities for low-income residents. These programs have been tremendously successful in opening access to permanent jobs. Despite significant progress in creating new access to construction careers, barriers remain. In many cities where community benefits coalitions work,
Mr. Perez, you have 30 seconds left in your 5 minutes, please. Thank you.
Research has shown that too often new development fails to generate high-quality jobs and career paths for residents of the poorest parts of the city. Local hire rate requirements are a critical component of the community benefits agenda because they create concrete mechanisms for ensuring that investment of public funds and economic development would direct resources into low-income neighborhoods. The point is not only to hire local residents, but to use local hire requirements to target opportunities to low-income residents and people of color who might otherwise not benefit from new development.
Mr. Perez, your time's expired.
Local hiring programs are on the strongest legal footing and are likely to produce more meaningful outcomes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so the next one I have is Armando Delgado. Okay, Armando.
Here we are.
Can you hear us, Armando?
Yes, I can.
Okay, you can begin.
Mr. Delgado, can I remind you,
Good
please,
evening,
that,
Chair.
I'm sorry, this is Chairperson Carrie Brogy. We have 5 minutes per speaker, just as a reminder. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, Chairman, Commissioners, staff, and Fillmore residents. Well, here we are again. By now, you may begin to understand our advocacy efforts of building better community wealth. Like I've mentioned before, I'm a member of, as well as a representative of the Southwest Regional Council of Carpenters, Local 805. Our organization represents over 57,000 professional union carpenters, and we keep a strong interest in well-ordered land use planning, addressing the environmental impacts, and our involvement with the development of new projects. You see, we're not just a bunch of sweaty, hammer-swinging fools. We are professional, blue-collar, registered voters that not only build buildings, but we build people that build a better community. By now, you can appreciate our enthusiasm about where we live, shop, and enjoy that small town lifestyle where the project is proposed. Cities like Santa Paula, Moore Park, and Fillmore have attracted Hollywood producers because of their charm. There ain't many cities like this left in California. Everyone likes new, but you can build modern buildings still with that charming feel without sacrificing comforts. But why aren't we, the local tradesmen and women, being included? Many construction projects happening throughout the county, our state, are starting to take on this massive and crowded metropolitan feel, with only a few of them providing work for any of our 1,800 brothers and sisters. Last time around, the commission engaged in a conversation where it asked the applicant about providing additional community benefits, such as requiring local hire and the use of skilled and trained workforce to build their project. Research has proven that local hiring can help reduce environmental impacts by reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It can also have a positive economic impact. The applicant stated that they solicited 34 union contractors with only one response. But I asked, how many of them were union carpentry contractors? And I asked that specifically because over 28 scopes of work within this industry, or 65% of a residential complex, is what we cover. I'd like to state that for the record, Carpenters Local 805 covers the Tri-County area of Ventura, Santa Barbara, and San Luis Obispo counties, with the only accredited apprenticeship training program in the area. So who did they call? Not us, not me, not my team. People Self-Help Housing are their own general contractors, so they don't require policies to be created. They just need a commitment to the community. I've personally visited the projects and have seen their contractors selected to perform work. Not all have been hired locally, so let's put that to rest. Let's move forward. Let us work in partnership with our recently graduated students, our women, veterans, traditionally disenfranchised residents, or anyone who just wants to start a career in the construction industry. Let's start building better community wealth. I'm about to send, well, actually, no, I just sent it. I just sent your office an email So there will be no excuse on our end to not work together. Thank you for your time. My name is Armando Delgado. I'm a Ventura County resident, Local 805 carpenter, United States Marine Corps veteran, and a housing advocate. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one we have is registered as Bobby. Bobby, are you here for item 6A? I'm sorry, let's see. Oh, I think he's got to start his video. It looks like he might be having some technical problems. Okay, if you, Bobby, if you'd like to rejoin the meeting, we will go ahead and have you do that, and then we will call you once we've finished the other speakers. Okay. And then the next person we have, a name doesn't come up, but it's spelled F-B-R-I-N-G-A-S Jr. Are you here for item 6A? It looks like they're connecting. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Please, are you here for to make a comment on item 6A?
No,
Okay.
I'm on
What is your name?
Francisco Bringas.
Oh,
I'm here for the Wingstop. That's not up yet, then, right?
okay. I'll place you on back in the waiting room, and when it's time.
Okay, so I'll just hold on.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Okay.
And then let me try this one. Okay, the name that comes up on the screen is Yuri Osipov. Okay. Okay, I've been told that Yuri is Wingstop, so that will be for the next item. Okay, and I'm gonna go back. Now we have someone that had called in. That was phone number ending 3559. And can you please state your name?
Francisco Bringas.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
It's Francisco Bringas with my name as well with the Wingstop team.
Okay, I understand. Let me put you back in the waiting room. One moment, please. That's Bobby. Okay. Okay, one last one then. We're going back to Bobby. Let's see. Is Bobby able to come on?
Wow. There's your face.
Yeah. Are you here to comment for item 6A?
Yes, it is a union job, the City Terrace.
Correct. Can you please state your full name?
Robert Morales Halkin.
Okay. Please proceed.
Yeah, I think I've been living Fillmore for all my life, and I think we should build it, and I think the union should be able to do it, like a union representative, because I think it's a better quality and stuff. So I don't know. That's what my opinion is on this matter, and I just think it should be Fillmore related and stuff, and I approve it.
Okay, thank you for your comment. Okay, that concludes the public comments for this item.
All right, thank you. And thank you also to all of those from the community who made comments this evening on this matter. At this point, what I'd like to do is go ahead and continue the public hearing. Michael, looking to you for direction here. We're just going to continue to the next month. And now, let's talk about it first. Let me talk to our staff, the commissioners first. But what I'd like to do, as opposed to getting into any in-depth questions, can we just at least give the applicants a yay or a nay as to whether it looks as though they're headed in the direction based on the information we provided to them last month? And even before you do that, I want to reiterate again to all the applicants and those that presented this evening that we really do appreciate you accommodating our changes and our requests, especially the requests that were made last month, which essentially we understand kind of put you back to the drawing board again and started virtually from scratch on what our envision was for this project. And so based on what you've presented thus far, it appears as though you heard what we said last month, and I'll go ahead and ask my fellow commissioners if they are in agreement with that.
Carrie, I am in agreement with you, but from what I saw still, the plans are not detailed enough for me to say yes. So I would have to see more to... Right,
and I think that's, so far, obviously that's what we're looking for. We're looking for actual finished plans. But based on the individual buildings that they've provided now, just reducing the footprint, and from my perspective, we're headed on the right path. So, other commissioners have comments?
I agree with that. I think we're on the right path.
Okay.
It's looking better, and I think that once a more prepared package is put together, I think we'd be able to potentially start to move forward on it.
Right, okay. And then, Miguel, do you want to weigh in?
Definitely. I want to thank the applicant for making the drastic change in direction and gone back to the drawing board and presented like they committed to presenting something conceptual. It's definitely like all the other commissioners have mentioned, a change, and it's definitely not in a position. I have multiple questions, but I think a good set of plans, a more detailed set of plans will answer those questions. So thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So hopefully with that information from the commissioners, and I'm addressing the applicants now, that you're getting confirmation from us that yes, this is what we had asked for at last month's meeting, and the changes so far we're headed down the right path. I'm comfortable with it, and it sounds like our other commissioners are as well. So with regard to the public hearing, my suggestion is we don't continue this to next month. Let's just wait until we have a full packet, the plans, and as opposed to what we've seen tonight, the more detailed plans that you would submit normally, and then go from there as far as getting you on calendar at a meeting. I'm assuming and this question will go to Kevin McSweeney. If they do have all of this prior, I don't know if it's realistic to expect this to be done in the plans to be prepared 2 weeks and presented to staff, and would that give you enough time, or?
No.
Okay.
Madam Chair, we'd prefer not to be date specific.
Okay.
On any future meeting. City staff has not reviewed what they've submitted. None of this was presented to the police department, fire department, engineering,
right,
planning. Okay. We hear your direction from tonight. We'd like to take what was presented and work with the applicant, vet it out with city staff, and when we're done vetting it out with city staff and the processing the project, then set the public hearing. I don't know if it's September. I don't know if it's November. It's up to the applicant. But we can work what they have. This is a fundamentally different design.
Right.
And we'll work with that.
Okay. And then with regard to a public hearing, I need to close the public hearing, then we would just, when it's agendized again.
Yeah, I think what the motion could be would be what's in number 2 there, to direct staff to provide public notice of a new planning commission hearing date for the project after completing a comprehensive review of the revised project plans, project description, and technical documents addressing the changes. So basically, essentially what would happen is once the staff has reviewed the changes and the more detailed plans have been prepared, then it would be re-noticed as a new public hearing at that time.
Okay, great. All right. So can I get a motion?
I move to direct staff to provide public notice of a new planning commission hearing date for the project after completing a comprehensive review of any applicant submitted revised project plans, project description, and technical documents addressing changes.
I'll second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And could we take, just for formality, take a roll call vote, please?
Chair Carrie Brogy,
Yes.
Commissioner Albert Mendez,
Yes.
Commissioner Aaron Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Miguel Magallanes.
Yes.
Great, thank you. And again, to the applicants, all of those that were in attendance this evening via Zoom, we appreciate it. We appreciate you hearing, what we've been saying, and appreciate your patience. And I think at some point in time, we'll have a phenomenal project there. So, but thank you again, and have a good evening. Okay, so now we are going to move on to item 6B. This is consideration of modification number 4 to development permit number 91-01, and I will turn that over to staff.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. This item is for a new restaurant, the Wingstop Restaurant. I'll go ahead and pull up the PowerPoint. Modification 4 to DP 91-01, and it's also a conditional use permit number 21-03. In short, the development permit includes a 1,506 square foot restaurant, and the conditional use permit is required for alcohol on-site consumption. Project is located at the building, it's the outbuilding in the Baldwin Town Center, right up along 126. The address, current address is 572 Ventura Street. It'll be changed to 574 for Wingstop. General plan designation is commercial highway. The zoning, this use is an allowed use in the commercial highway zone. It requires a development permit for changes to a structure. It would have been a minor development permit, but for the fact that they have alcohol sales, which required a CUP approved by your planning commission. A site plan, just a brief overview. So this Wingstop will occupy a portion of that current building. It was formerly Burger King, you may remember. Jamba Juice was recently approved by the planning director. On one portion of the building, it will now be a multi-tenant building with a Wingstop on the westerly portion. The Wingstop will also occupy the seating on the outside, which is that enclosed gated seating area. And surrounding parking and all of the landscape improvements will remain. And, oh, by the way, the drive-through portion will be used by Jamba Juice, not Wingstop.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that last sentence?
The existing drive-through that's on that building, that will be occupied by Jamba Juice, or used by Jamba Juice.
Okay.
So the drive-through is not under your consideration. Just a short overview of the floor plan. Really nothing to decide here, but it shows you where the sales counter will be, some seating area, and again, the outdoor seating area. So that's inside Wingstop, and on the right-hand side of your screen is Jamba Juice. Previously approved. Just a brief overview of the elevations. You can see some of the changes there in color, kind of cleaning up the building. That's the north elevation along 126, and the south elevation facing the parking lot. Not under your consideration, just as a side note, that Jamba Juice door is a new door that will be added to the building. That's already been approved. And again, there's a view from the west side at the driveway entrance. So the development permit is a modification 4 to the permit that was originally issued by the City Council back in 1994 for the whole Baldwin Town Plaza. It's 186,000 square foot plaza. This project, as I mentioned, is a tenant improvements to 1,506 square foot portion. The total building is 2,879 square feet. Interior improvements will include new walls, ceiling, finished floors, millwork, seating, and mechanical and plumbing. And exterior improvements include tenant signs and painting. Under the conditional use portion of this, the hours of operation will be from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. daily. They'll have about 25 employees working various shifts, and they will be serving alcohol, beer, and wine under the ABC license. That's issued by the state. The analysis on the project is that it's really not much of a change to the project. It is still consistent with what was originally approved. It is still consistent with the Ventura Street design guidelines, which were taken into account under the current design. Just a brief overview. It has a railroad architectural theme. It contains varied roof lines, mixed roof styling, including parapet and sloped forms, colonnade, arcade, and 2 tower elements, smooth stucco finish, and metal standing seam roof materials. Those are all previously approved and going to be upgraded under the current project. It does not include expansion of the building. Under the conditional use permit findings for the alcohol portion, the project is consistent. These are sections out of the zoning code. It is not going to be occupied by an adult business. It was reviewed by the police department. They did not have any concerns over crime. And the structure will be primarily for food, and will not it will not occupy more than 5% of the floor space. The general CUP findings, it's a conditionally permitted use in this zone. It complies with the purpose and intent of the Fillmore Municipal Code. It's complying with all the provisions of the zoning ordinance and general plan. It's consistent with the original findings of the California Environmental Quality Act. There are no new significant effects upon the environmental quality or natural resources, its existing built environment, no surrounding sensitive uses. The design, location, and characteristics are compatible with the existing and future land uses. There are no new noise or traffic considerations or objectionable or detrimental to other permitted uses nearby or adverse to the public interest, health, and safety, or convenience or welfare. The building now, as you can see, has sort of been a bit boarded up and dilapidated looking, so it'll definitely liven up that area a bit. It's physically suitable to accommodate this use. There are existing provisions for access to water and sanitation and other services to service this use. There will be no public health and safety concerns. And a little bit more on, if you are interested in the California alcohol license, just some general provisions under that license. It's called a Type 41 license, and it's for beer and wine only. They cannot have spirits on site unless it's used for cooking. They must operate and maintain the license as a bona fide eating establishment. They must maintain a suitable kitchen facilities and make actual substantial sales of meals for consumption on the premises, and minors are allowed on the premises. They'll also be including signs. Overall, the signs are consistent with our 50 square foot maximum, and each tenant can have a sign on each side of the building. Here's just a short summary of the sizes of the signs. You've already seen these in the elevations, but I'll just flip through what the signs will look like. And the project has also submitted their construction drawings ahead of time. So one of the items we wanted to bring up, just to bring to your attention, is that in order to accommodate the Americans with Disability Act, they will have to provide access to a public sidewalk. And the current design, and these are in the construction drawings, is to come across the parking area, which could lose approximately 4 parking stalls, possibly more, depending on what the end result is of the ADA access configuration. So if they lose parking stalls, it won't be an issue with them meeting their parking standards. The lot that they're in has 20 parking stalls currently. The project with Jamba Juice calculates out to about 16 parking stalls. So if they were to lose some parking stalls, they still should be able to meet their parking demand within their existing parcel. In the event that they don't, there is a shared parking agreement that allows them to use parking in the whole shopping center, and a lot of that parking that you see along the left side of your screen would also be available to them. So that, again, is working its way through the construction review process. This project was found to be exempt under the California Environmental Quality Act. It's an existing facility, and it involves new construction or conversion of small structures. Staff's recommendation is to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1015, approving modification number 4 to DP 91-1 and CEQA categorical exemption subject to conditions of approval. And 2, adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1016, approving CUP 2103 subject to conditions of approval. The conditions of approval are in your packages. And I'm here to answer any questions, and I believe the applicant is here as well to answer any questions.
Great, and don't we have a speaker also, public comment?
Would the applicant like to speak on this project?
I believe the applicant is already here. He could state his name. I think this may be Francisco.
Yeah, hello. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, so this is a very exciting project for the community because, basically we're bringing back an existing 2,800 square foot building back online, which has been dormant for quite some time. And we spend quite a bit of effort, working very closely with the city in terms of trying to get something that would seamlessly be integrated into the existing context. And I think, even with the color palette and revisiting the signage package, I think we accomplished that. And, regarding the parking, according to the municipal code of Fillmore, we are within the guidelines, and we only are required to accommodate actually 11 vehicles, and we're actually supplying 16, so we're exceeding the threshold of 11. And so we made an effort to seamlessly also integrate ADA path by integrating the existing concrete apron, right, that would probably would be in our mind the safest solution, as it doesn't go into the drive aisles where you have vehicles that are speeding up to maybe 30, 35 miles an hour. And it's kind of a blind opportunity for someone, to not see an 88 person within that aisle. And so, unfortunately, you're going to lose some parking stalls there. But, at least now you'll have a straight shot that'll get access to the public right away. That's all I have.
Great, thank you. And do we have a public comment on this agenda item?
Chair Brogy, but before taking public comment, if the commission has any questions for the applicant or staff, those could be asked.
Okay. Any commissioners, any questions for staff on this item? I do have one. And the reason I asked you when you were doing your presentation about the comment about the signs, there was just on the west side view of the, looking at the drive-in, I'm just wondering, when I looked at it initially, it looked as though Wingstop was part of the drive-through because the signage is over the driving. Is that, anybody else see that or catch that or?
Yeah, the main reason they put it out there on that tower feature is because that has good visibility from Highway 126.
Okay.
And they are allowed, in a multi-tenant building, you could have multi-tenants using the various elevations of the building. So they weren't precluded from putting a sign at that elevation, even though that tower does cover the drive-through portion. It's really kind of an extension of the overall structure.
Yeah, I'm just envisioning down the road someone saying, hey, we can drive through that restaurant over there, Wingstop, and get drive-through Wingstop, and they'll get stuck in through the drive-through.
That's true.
So,
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And maybe the applicant could add a sign or ensure that the directional signs leading into the drive-through itself specify that it's strictly for Jamba Juice.
That's what I was going to ask. Is there
Yeah.
something that we can do or the applicant can do that will specifically say Jamba Juice drive-through only?
Yeah, perhaps at the drive-through entrance,
Right.
they could say that. There's some smaller directional signs that get you in there. They could put it there. You'll notice that there is on the Jamba Juice sign, it does have drive-through directly below the Jamba Juice, but you're right, they could perceive that as applying to Wingstop.
Yeah, and I actually surveyed my family on this. My husband said that would be confusing to him. My sister said,
Okay.
no, she said, I would know that. That doesn't mean I can drive through to get Wingstop.
Okay.
So it might be a moot point, but.
I have a comment towards that. What would happen if Jamba Juice is on top of Wingstop when it comes to the sign? That way, it's kind of clear that this is the drive-through. Would that help?
Possibly, but I don't think it would completely alleviate the chair's concern there by flipping them. That might help, and we can ask the applicant to do that.
When I
But
looked
I
at the
think we would
sign,
also want to do the directional sign.
when I looked at the sign, I read it as Jamba Juice drive-through only because of the drive-through it says Jamba Juice and drive-through under the Jamba
As
Juice
part
sign.
of, yeah, the same coloring as the Jamba
Yeah.
Juice.
So I took it as
Okay.
Jamba Juice only.
Okay.
Then maybe I'm the only one confused. I'd be the only one driving through for Wingstop. So, okay, just any
Yeah.
any other comments?
We definitely would have to go inside to get any alcohol. I don't think they
This
could-
is true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Comments, questions?
Regarding the alcohol, I have a question. I saw the hours of operation of Wingstop were 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. Is there anything else in the city that sells alcohol that late?
I believe
More like beer, not spirits.
I believe Central Station is open that late. but I'm not sure on their timing.
Yeah, if you're asking me, I can't remember. I know we've approved restaurants to open up that late, like El Pescador and some of the others. I don't know if they actually stay open that late, but they have the capability to.
Yeah, we were at El Pescador and they stopped serving liquor at 10.
Okay.
So that would be, something as well.
Well,
Okay.
don't we have a city ordinance that dictates how late alcohol can be sold?
No, we don't. But
Don't?
we did provide a condition of approval that they couldn't sell alcohol past 11:30. And we did talk to the California ABC about that. And they said typically it's about a half an hour. And we did talk about it with the police department as well. And they felt a half hour before close was sufficient to cut off maybe a last call.
Okay.
The reason I bring it up, I just want to kind of align with everything else in the city and kind of make it fair for everybody. Keep that small town feeling. But I'm not too sure what everyone else's thoughts are on that in regards to the alcohol.
I think it's fine the way it is because we have a bunch of new residents coming from out of the area that are moving into the bridges and all that. A lot of those residents would probably be in favor of this because there's really not a lot of other choices in town to go to.
And it's walking distance.
Yeah, it's walking distance. I think it's perfect.
That's a good point.
As long as we're in compliance and
Yeah.
we're good.
Any other questions for staff? Okay. Then let's open up for public comment then.
Okay, there is a Yuri Osipov that has joined the meeting. I'm not sure if they wanted to make a comment on this item.
Yeah, no, Yuri Osipov is with the architectural team with Francisco, with the Wingstop team.
Oh. There are no other people here for, I believe, for public comment on this item.
Okay, so no others. Okay. Then if we have no other questions, then I'm ready to receive a motion.
I will move to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1015, approving modification number 4 to DP 91-1 and sequel categorical exemption subject to conditions of approval, attachment 4, and adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1016, attachment 6, approving conditional use permit 21-03, subject to conditions of approval.
Thank you, and may I have a second?
I will second that.
The first and a second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, this motion passes. And thank you for the great report on this. This was a lot of information, a lot of detail that was really helpful.
So can we have a roll call vote just for the record?
Oh,
please?
that's right, sorry.
Chair Carrie Brogy,
Yes.
Commissioner Aaron Todd,
Yes.
Commissioner Albert Mendez,
Yes.
Commissioner Miguel Magallanes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Then now we're moving on to item 6C. This is a public hearing, consideration of modification number 2, development permit 18-02, and I'll let staff finish the rest of it.
Good evening, Chair. I'm Brian McCarthy. I'll just stay up here. This is modification number 2 to development permit 1802, conditional use permit 1802, and lot merger 1802. It's for the recreational vehicle sales, storage, and service project out off the highway. It's been before you a couple of times in the past. You'll notice on the location map there, as I said, just adjacent to Highway 126 on the north side as you come into town, traveling west. Just a brief overview of the previously approved project, or well, first of all, they're requesting an additional 1-year time extension to implement their permit for the project. It's presently scheduled to expire on July 16 of this year. And a little bit of background on the previously approved project. It was originally approved by your commission on January of 2019. And in December of 2019, you approved modification number 1. And under the modification 1, 4 buildings were eliminated from the plan and a phasing plan was implemented. And a short overview of the project. It's 2 parcels merging into 1. As I said, RV sales, storage, and service. 2 buildings will be used for retail, sales, office, and displays. 1 building will be used for office space and servicing of new and stored RVs. There'll be a large asphalt parking area, which will make up the preponderance of the site. It'll support 367 open RV parking spaces for rent and 41 spaces for displaying RV sales. The project is a brief overview. Again, the site plan. The southerly portion of the site is for more of the commercial component, and the northerly portion of the site is for the open storage. And a brief look at what some of the elevations of the buildings will look like there. So again, the proposed project here before you now is simply just a 1-year time extension. It's a modification to the conditions of approval. As noted here, the strikeout is the text that's removed from the conditional use permit, and the new expiration date would be July 16, 2022. That's a 1-year time extension. Mitigated negative declaration had previously been prepared for the previously approved project. An addendum was prepared under modification 1. This modification 2 doesn't include any physical changes to the project, and it would remain in compliance with the existing MND. Staff's recommendation is to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1017, approving a time extension to request for modification number 2 for an additional 1-year time extension to July 16, 2022, and not allowing any further time extensions. I'm here for any questions. I believe the applicant is also online and would like to speak.
Okay. Let's hear from the applicant then.
I believe he's trying to connect right now. We have Mark Pettit. Can you hear us, Mr. Pettit?
I can now. Thank you.
Okay, please continue.
We can hear you.
Mark, we're at the public comment period, and we'd like to hear from you if you have a comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got in late on that. No, we just wanted to make sure that you understood that we're just asking for an extension. We have every intention of going forward and completing the project, but because of death in one of the partners and tied up in the estates, it's estate sale. It's been very long and very difficult time. I think Don Duncan is also available and he can talk to that a little bit more.
Mark, can you hear me?
Yes.
I just got audio, so I didn't hear the beginning, but I'm guessing what you're talking about is there's been 2 big issues with this project. One is COVID-19, which I don't really need to talk much about, and the other is my partner getting cancer and passing away, and everything being tied up with the attorneys and probate.
Okay, I think that's the extent of the applicant's comments.
Okay, great. So let's go ahead and hear questions from staff for the applicant or for staff. I'm sorry, commissioners.
I see no problem giving an extension with the stipulation, as it says here, no other time, after this, no more time.
Great, and I remember when this project came before us, did it go to council at one point even? Anyway,
The appeal
yeah.
of a decision from the planning commission where we required undergrounding by the
Oh,
planning
that's right.
commission, and that particular issue was appealed to the city council, and the city council removed the requirement of undergrounding.
Right, I remember now,
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, I was excited to see this project coming to Fillmore as an RV person myself. So I'm excited. I have no problem with the extension either. So any other comments or questions from commissioners? Do we have any public comments?
We do not.
Okay, then I will entertain a motion.
I will move to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1017, approving time extension request for modification number 2 for an additional 1-year time extension to July 26, 2022, and not allowing any further time extensions.
Do I have a second?
Just for clarification, did you say July 26th or July 16th?
Oh, July 16th, sorry.
Okay.
Good
Yeah,
catch.
July 16th, yeah.
We need to reread that?
No, I think the record's so the extension's going to be till July 16th,
Okay.
20.
I will second that.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes, and we will ask for a roll call. vote.
Chair Carrie Brogy,
Aye.
Commissioner Aaron Todd,
Aye.
Commissioner Albert Mendez,
Aye.
Commissioner Miguel Magallanes.
Aye.
Okay, great, thank you. That moves us on to item 6D. And again, we will turn it over to our senior planner, Brian McCarthy.
So this final item of the evening is, last but not least, zoning ordinance amendment 21-01, ordinance 21-3832. And this is to amend the Fillmore Municipal Code. This short background, under California state law, the city is limited when discretionary permits automatically expire, and the city would have to take action to revoke a permit. And there are two basic scenarios that are clarified now in the ordinance. Under the first scenario, progress toward exercising a permit has not been diligently pursued, and the applicant basically has not enacted their permit after 1 year's time frame, and the city can enforce that permit expiration date on them. The second scenario that's clarified and consistent with state law now would be where an applicant has relied on that permit and maybe has expended resources in reliance on the permit, and maybe their expiration date comes and goes, and the city would have to have a revocation process, a revocation hearing to actually deem that permit expired. So, one, they haven't made any progress, it's expired under the expiration date. Two, they've relied heavily on that permit, they have made progress, and the city, in order to revoke or enforce the expiration date, would have to have a hearing before you. This ordinance basically establishes the 1 year expiration date as the primary date for expiration. And under that date, we would make the determination under those two scenarios. This amendment also allows for voluntary abandonment, so an applicant can abandon a permit or abandon a variance. There are certain obligations that often go along with some of those permits, so it would allow them to get out of those obligations if they met the criteria to abandon those. So that's also been established under this ordinance amendment. And then a third major component to this is under the revocation hearing procedures, several new criteria have been added. 3, so the permit or variance not being timely exercised becomes explicit. The following issuance of a building permit, no commencement of construction or discontinuance of construction for 1 year is the second new criteria. And a third criteria is for a multi-phased project, a building permit for construction of a subsequent phase has not been issued within 1 year from the previous phase's date of construction commencement. So in short, the planning development permits and the conditional use permits and the variances will have those two scenarios under which they'll expire, and new code sections were added as well. And it's all there in your package. This will be ultimately approved by the Planning Commission, so your recommendation will be to count for council. So staff's planning director's recommendation is the Planning Commission adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1018, recommending City Council approval of Zoning Ordinance Amendment 21-01 to update the city's zoning ordinance to specify and clarify permit and variance expiration and abandonment procedures and a finding of exemption from CEQA.
Okay, thank you. And do we have any public comments on this agenda item?
We do not.
Okay, then I will turn it over to commissioners for questions of staff. No questions?
No, I think it's a good idea
Yeah.
to have this ordinance.
Tighten everything up a little bit.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I did have one question, and this is just for my own educational purposes, I think, under the development permit, and I'm looking at page 2 of the report. It says that if no date is specified by the review authority, blah, blah, blah. It's hard for me to imagine any scenario where there would not be a date specified. I mean,
Yeah, normally we would specify an expiration date in our use permits, our development permits and
Yeah.
conditional use permits. But there are some times where perhaps maybe it's missed, or maybe there's an older permit that's been around for quite a while, and maybe they've abandoned or they've not continued the use, and we would need to deem it expired at that point. So we may find these kind of legacy permits out there that don't have an expiration date in them. But in any case, having this in the code always gives staff that fallback, whenever
Great.
maybe something was left out erroneously, or or an old permit arises.
okay.
So
And as Brian mentioned, this is not something that we're approving, we're making a recommendation. Our motion should be a recommendation to the city council. So do I have a motion?
I'll move to adopt Planning Commission Resolution 21-1018, recommending City Council approval of zoning ordinance amendment 21-01 to update the city's zoning ordinance to specify and clarify permit and variance expiration and abandonment procedures and findings of exemption from CEQA.
Thank you. And Maggie,
Yes,
that was a second?
Yes.
Oh, coming from Miguel on my screen. All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none, motion passes. And may I have a roll call?
Chair Carrie Brogy,
Aye.
Commissioner Aaron Todd,
Aye.
Commissioner Albert Mendez,
Aye.
Commissioner Miguel Magallanes.
Aye.
All right. Thank you. Okay, so that concludes all of our public hearings, all of our agenda items, 6A through D. Did we do D? I'm drawing a blank.
There are no business items.
Yes, I'm sorry, okay. So moving on now to business items, agenda item number 7.
There are no items, Madam
Okay.
Chair.
Reports and communications. Kevin, do you have anything?
No, I have no items to report to you. I would like to publicly commend Brian and Inez on not just tonight, but throughout the whole year. They've operated the Zoom meetings with you planning commissioners, and then tonight as well. So I'd like to thank them. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been a different year, obviously, for all of us, and I'm thrilled that we are back in chambers, and hopefully we can get everybody back in chambers soon, and along with the public. Love to see people sitting in the chairs, so we're headed that direction. Okay, brief reports from any of the commissioners? Yeah, okay. And any items from commissioners that you might want to see on a future agenda? Okay. Hearing none, then I'm going to adjourn the meeting, and we are adjourning the meeting to July 21st at 6:30 p.m. back here in chambers. Everyone have a good evening.